All right, this is going to be a pretty quick little demonstration for using these types of watercolors. You should have gotten something like this from me, and then if you're working on this at home, you'll also need a paper towel or a napkin or something, and then some kind of container to hold water, and then the paper that I gave you as well, which yours is this size. I'm just using the smaller one for the demonstration. You should have gotten a brush that came with your watercolor, and because this is just a really simple background that we're painting, this type of brush will work just fine. If you were painting something more detailed, we would want to use a different brush than this, but for this type of just painting kind of a big open area, this type of brush will work just fine. On yours, you need to have, on this paper, you need to put 4 different squares or rectangles. And you are going to do, eventually, after you paint your watercolor backgrounds and they dry, you're going to use those 4 squares to do 4 different patterns. So you're going to kind of divide it up like this. The squares or rectangles don't have to be absolutely perfect. You can see on this paper that I just kind of sketched them out. I didn't even use a ruler. If you have a ruler or some other kind of straight edge that you'd like to use, you're more than welcome to do that. So I'm going to show you just how to use the watercolor. On my example, you'll see that most of them just have a watercolor background. Oh no, I spilled the water. Well, shoot. I guess that makes it a little bit more fun to watch, huh? Okay. I'm just gonna kind of leave that for now. We'll figure it out. This one, all these just have an open background. Like this one, I blended 2 colors together. This is just one color. This is just one solid color. But on this one, I knew I wanted to have 2 separates. So before I started, I outlined the shape of the lightning bolts so that I could paint just around them. So if that's something that you want to do, you'll want to outline those areas first on your paper. So I'm just gonna do something really simple so it's really quick for the demonstration. But let's just say I want to have like an X through the box like this. So I'm going to paint certain colors here and certain colors here. Then I'm just going to go ahead and give myself that rough guideline. But you don't have to do any kind of guideline before. If you just want to do the open areas, you can. So what I'm going to show you, gosh, I cannot believe I spilled that water everywhere. Okay, so first what you need to do is get your brush wet, and then you need to pick which color you'd like to work with. I'm going to use this teal color, and then you're going to put the water brush on it, and you have to kind of work the water into the dried, this is like a watercolor cake is what you call it. You have to work it into the cake until it's good and lathered up. You'll start to see like a change in it. See how there's like that little puddle? It's a puddle of color. Get it on your brush, and then you want to apply it to the paper. Again, this is like not maybe the most fantastic brush, but just for putting in big areas of color like this, it will be just fine. Now I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to wash my brush out, leave some water on it, and I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to do purple. So I'm lathering it up again. And then I'm going to paint it on the paper with the blue, kind of helping them blend together a little bit. And this is just to have like some fun colors in your background. That's all we need to do. Remember, you're going to do 4 different ones. So I'm only doing 2 for this example, but you'll do 4 different ones. And you could go back at this point and put a little more teal. If you don't like the way that it blended some of it, you can add some more back in, or whatever. But you want to just have maybe a blend of colors. This is how you can do it. You can also do a solid one. I'm just showing you the technique of blending them together. So now let's pick orange. Again, we got the brush wet and I'm lathering it up. Make sure you're washing your brush out as you change colors. And I'm going to paint in a section. If I'm trying to paint around something or only in a small area, make sure you're slowing down a little bit. And the more water you add, the lighter the color is going to be. So see how this one is brighter? That's because there was a little less water here. That one is lighter because there was more water. So if I'm not putting more water on my brush, I'm going to get like a brighter, more vibrant color. But you've got to have some water. Even if you want it to be vibrant, you still have to have some to get it started. You want to avoid it looking really dry. And I'll show you an example of what I mean by that. So it filled these in pretty solid, and then we would choose another color to go in this part. So I'm going to use this light green, it's yellow green. Since I haven't used it yet, I'm getting some fresh water, lathering it up. As you work, if you're using a lot of different colors, your water might get really muddy. See how it's kind of starting to look brown? And you want to rinse that out and get new water, because it'll actually start to make your colors look less vibrant. So if that happens, you want to go ahead and rinse it. So I've got my green good and lathered up, and I would paint it, you know, in whatever section I want that to be in. If you're doing different sections, again, you can choose to do just one color. You can choose to blend 2 colors or 3 colors. I wouldn't blend any more than 3. And I'm trying to fill in the area completely. And again, these will only serve as backgrounds. You're going to be eventually drawing on top of them like this. So these are just backgrounds. So let me show you what it would look like if you didn't have enough water on your brush. It would look like this. You're trying to scrape it around, you're squishing your brush out like that. That'll ruin the brush, and it's kind of inconsistent. You don't want it to look like this. You want to make sure you have enough water so that everything spreads really smooth over your area of your paper. After you do this, you want to let these dry completely. And it shouldn't take very long, 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. So let it dry completely, and then you're good to go and draw on top of these. You can draw in pencil first, and then go back with a marker or a pen. But you want to maybe make a plan for yourself if you don't feel super confident to go straight in without any outlines. And that is it. Make sure you wash out the brush really, really well. It's very clean before you put it back in here. Then you'll want to make sure that the brush is in the paint container and close the lid. And then whatever jar or container you used at home, make sure you rinse that out, put it away, do all your stuff you're supposed to do.